Hey guys, Saki here with another Kerbal Space Program video. In this video, Billy Bobton will be taking our third addition to Mir up to the space station to meet it. It's a four-way connection, and what that will do is will allow us to put a space shuttle docking port at the bottom of this thing so any future Kerbal Space Shuttle missions can have an appropriate dock for it. The launch profile on this rocket is just the same as before, and I actually make a mistake and I was a little distracted and missed my gravity turn on this particular launch, so I was highly ballistic and coming down to the ground fairly quickly, so I had to burn more fuel than I wanted to, so this is not the most efficient approach. But we're burning at night, unfortunately. You could wait until the space station is overhead, and then that way you can burn directly towards it and catch it as it flies by, and save yourself a whole lot of fuel by not adjusting your inclination and circularizing your orbit. However, since we have more than enough fuel on this thing and more than enough delta V to do such things, then we will just keep a circular orbit in mind. The circular orbit is good because the space station itself has a circular orbit, so if we get into a circular orbit, then any point that we launch off of that orbit will require the exact same amount of delta V. So we're not burning at a high or low spot in our orbit and burning more fuel to get to that high spot or burning more fuel to get out of it. Almost done with this first stage now. I'm already at 15,000 meters, and I start to realize at about 20 that I am going way too high. And at this point, my altitude, I haven't even checked, but when I got to the orbit map, it was about 150 kilometers. So I overshot my usual orbit for sure. But now we're ready to do the gravity turn and drop the extra weight and burn on out to Kerbin's orbits and then circularize. So we'll see you then. And we're approaching our ascending node here. We are 1.1 degrees off from the launch, so just a minor change in inclination here. Just using the maneuver node ever so slightly as usual, getting the ascending and descending nodes facing the opposite sides of the planet to signify a 0 degree inclination. And here's our burn. Not a lot of delta V required to even out that. Slowing down, and there we go. Killing our engines, and then let's take a look and see what our inclination ended up being. Extending the solar panel so as we float around we gain power. There's killing the maneuver node, and there we go, we are right on. Now here is our circularization orbit, only 50 meters a second needed. I spent a lot of fuel, as you can see I'm on my last stage already. I spent a lot of fuel getting into an orbit that I didn't fall down in this, but there we go, nice and circular. And now it's time to plan our approach. Now it's just a matter of rotating our leave time with the appropriate delta V. And there we go. 4.7 kilometer approach. There's 0.8, perfect. So since our orbit being circular and the space station being circular, we can apply the same amount of delta V no matter what our takeoff time is. So that's the most efficient way to do that. If you are parking, just make sure to have your orbit nice and circular. And here's our burn to get to the space station. We're on the dark side now, but luckily we have enough electric charge. At full throttle, I think these engines provide enough thrust to charge that battery, so we don't have to worry about it on the dark side. And then, of course, once the sun comes around, our solar panels will do all of the charging for us, and we can maneuver as much as we'd like. And now we're done with the burn. Going back to our orbit map and making sure that we are indeed going to hit the station where we say we are. Okay, 11.2. We just turn on RCS, and I'm burning backwards, bringing that number down as close as possible. 1.5, there's 0.8, 0.7, 0.5, 0.3, 0.1. That's about as close we can get without smashing into the thing. Now, of course, it's just a matter of waiting, and be sure to set your basically alarm clock. And I will see you when we are closer to the station. Here comes Mir at 216 meters a second. I was a little late on that burn. You see it screamed past us, but now we are burning directly towards it. And we were so close that we are actually still pointing towards it as we're burning, which is a very good thing. We'll catch up to it fairly quickly. We don't even need to adjust our trajectory at all. Now we'll just make up for lost speed. Burn towards it as about 20 to 30 meters a second since it's 2.5 kilometers out. There we go, and then I'll just adjust my pitch to get that right dead center, and I'll see you at the space station. There's Mir, almost 100 meters away, and now we can get a good look at where we're going to park this thing. It's on the front of my nose, so as the last pod, I can just use my rocket to push it into place, and we're going to its southern edge to where it's going to tip off, and you see those the four-way port will be facing south of the station, and that's where we will connect a future docking module for the eventual space shuttle. Alright, doing some fine-tune maneuvers here. This is a very delicate and long process as usual. And unfortunately, this isn't the pod with the remote robot to control whatever it's attached to. So unfortunately, in this mission, I'm still not able to really retract those solar panels for my approach. Just a delicate balance here. I'm sort of skating to the side of it, using RCS to keep the yellow movement indicator to the left of the pink dot, which means I'm moving to the left of my target, which is the space station at this point. And then once I get that pink circle directly in front of my on my nav ball, right dead center, then I can thrust forward, and it should just dock into place. There I'm leveling out my horizon, and there we go. It's directly right in front of us. So now I have to fire forward and then adjust my trajectory, which now I'm sliding past it and going the opposite way, so I really need to burn back towards it. I'm sliding all over the place, hitting the wrong keys, going out to map view, and it's kind of hectic because you don't want to go slamming into this thing, and there we go, I've missed it. I've gone under it now. So now we just have to pull the Austin powers and back up and pull forward and back up and pull forward again and just try to get myself positioned correctly. Luckily, we're on the light side, or at least the solar panels on the Soyuz can see the sunlight, so I'm not in danger of running out of electric charge. Plenty of monopropellant. 1,500 units of RCS fuel is quite a bit. I can actually probably do all of this maneuvering with just the RCS. I won't need my actual rocket fuel until I want to burn home. Still skating around, and it almost looks like the station is spinning in front of me, which is not good. Hitting a moving target is very difficult as it's rotating. If it's moving directly towards you, then you just line up, just like the Gemini missions. You just point the noses toward each other and let the spaceships guide in on themselves. But here we go. I think I got it now, moving in at 0.2 meters a second, and I'm just doing my best to keep all this stuff lined up. At 26 meters now, and as you're closing in, this can be like the longest 26 meters of your life. You're just hoping that the thing isn't spinning, and you hope you're coming in correctly, but here we go. Now we're looking better, and I just need to rotate so that the solar panels will not hit anything as they extend outward, which this is the proper orientation here. Now 20 meters away and 0.2 meters a second, a lot of time to adjust trajectory and a lot of time to fix something if it goes wrong. Luckily the station is nice and stable. We're coming in at a constant rate, and that yellow marker isn't bouncing around too awful much. Just making sure that SAS is on so the rocket stays fairly in place. Just minor pops of that RCS thruster. Still at 0.2 meters a second. As long as we're closing in, we'll get there. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And under 10 meters now. And then here's where the nav ball will really start to shake because it's almost right on top of it. But pretty soon we should start feeling the magnetic pull of the space station. We'll have to make sure that indeed our SAS is off so this thing can coast in. Just minor fine-tune adjustments right there at the last part. Coming in, and it doesn't look like we're going to hit a solar panel. Some final adjustments. And magnetism. Don't hit, don't hit, don't hit, don't hit, don't hit. And it almost, ooh, that solar panel was close. And then I'm just rotating the capsule to meet the pink, just trying to help it attach, and there we go. The next part of the Mir space station is attached, and then the next one will have a controller body, and it's going to go right across from that one to our left. So until then, this has been Sokka. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.